My dear sisters, I want you to imagine this for a moment. You wake up one morning and realize you have no money in your account, no savings, no support, no backup, just you standing there with faith, fear, and fire. Now, most people will tell you, without money, you are nothing. But let me tell you the truth, without character, without courage, without confidence, even money means nothing. Because money can fill your purse, but only purpose can fill your heart. Money can buy you comfort, but only courage can build your confidence. And when a woman learns to rise without money, she becomes unstoppable when she has it. Money defines comfort, not worth. These few words can change how you see your entire life. Because the truth is, we live in a world that has made money the ultimate measure of success. The size of your house, the brand of your clothes, the car you drive, all have become symbols of status. But deep down, you and I both know, none of these things define who you really are. They only show what you can afford, not what you're worth. Think about it. A woman may live in a small apartment, cook her own meals, and take a bus to work, and yet she carries herself with grace, kindness, and confidence. On the other hand, there are people who drive luxury cars, wear designer clothes, and live in mansions, yet inside they feel empty, restless, and lost. Why? Because money bought them comfort, not peace. It gave them a lifestyle, not life. Let me share a story. Once, a young woman I met in a seminar came up to me and said, "Guruji, I feel like I'm behind in life. My friends are buying houses, traveling, building businesses, and I can barely pay my bills. I feel worthless." I smiled and asked her one question. "Tell me, what makes you truly happy?" She said, "When I visit my old teacher and bring her some fruits. When I help my younger brother study. When I see my mother smile." I said, "Then you're already rich, my dear, because you have something that money can't buy, a heart that gives." You see, we are taught from childhood to measure everything: marks, salary, possessions, status. But not many are taught to measure kindness, honesty, or integrity. And yet, those are the things that define true worth. Money can buy you a bed, but not sleep. It can buy you food, but not appetite. It can buy you medicine, but not health. It can buy attention, but not love. It can buy followers, but not genuine friends. If money could buy peace, the richest people would be the happiest. But look around. Many of them are struggling with anxiety, loneliness, and pressure. They have comfort, but not contentment. They have wealth, but not wellness. A woman's worth is not in her purse, but in her purpose. It's not in her bank account, but in her attitude. It's not in her jewelry, but in her joy. Think about your own life for a moment. Have you ever met a woman who doesn't have much, yet when she enters the room, everyone feels lighter? She may not wear expensive perfume, but she carries an aura of peace. She may not have the latest phone, but her words comfort your heart. That is what real worth looks like. It's invisible, but unforgettable. Real worth comes from how you treat people when you have nothing to gain. It's in how you speak to those who can't do anything for you. It's in your ability to stay kind even when life isn't kind to you. One day, money will lose its value, but your values will never lose their power. Every morning when you wake up, the world may judge you by your possessions, but God looks at your heart. The world asks, "What do you have?" God asks, Who have you become? When you understand this, life changes. You stop comparing. You stop competing. You start living with peace and purpose. Let's take a simple example from daily life. Imagine two women working in the same office. One drives a fancy car, the other takes public transport. One wears branded clothes, the other simple attire. The first one always complains, stresses, and gossips. The second one greets everyone with warmth, helps others, and works sincerely. Now tell me, who is richer? The one who earns more, or the one who gives more of her heart? The second woman may not have financial wealth, but she has emotional and spiritual wealth. She is rich in patience, kindness, and gratitude, and that wealth can never be stolen, never be lost, and never go out of fashion. So never let your financial status decide your self-worth. If you can stay humble when you have money and stay hopeful when you don't, you are truly successful. There will be times when you struggle financially, when you feel the pressure of bills, responsibilities, and expectations. In those moments, don't label yourself as a failure, because lack of money is not lack of value. It's just a phase, a situation, not your identity. You are not poor if your wallet is empty. You are poor only if your mind is empty. Because an empty wallet can be filled again, but an empty heart cannot give love. And an empty mind cannot create progress. Work hard, yes. Earn, yes. Be ambitious, yes. But don't forget to be kind, grounded, and grateful. Money is a tool. It's meant to serve you, not define you. Remember this: the most expensive things in life are free: a peaceful night's sleep, a sincere friend, a child's laughter, a parent's blessing, a smile after a long day. You don't need to buy them, you only need to appreciate them. So if today you feel small because you don't have much, hold your head high, because your worth doesn't come from your bank balance, it comes from your balance of mind. Your peace, your kindness, your values, they are your real treasure. And when you live with that understanding, money will chase you, opportunities will find you, and success will respect you. Because the universe always rewards authenticity over appearance. So don't ever let anyone make you feel lesser because of what you don't have. Walk with dignity. Speak with kindness. Work with passion. Live with gratitude. Because that is the wealth that never runs out. Money defines comfort, not worth. And if you remember that every single day, you will never feel poor again. When you lose everything, you gain strength. These words sound simple, but their meaning is as deep as the ocean. Because strength is not built when life is easy. It's built when life breaks you down and you still choose to rise again. When everything is gone, when everyone leaves, when the lights go off and you stand alone in the dark, that's when real strength is born. You see, losing everything isn't always a curse. Sometimes it's life's way of cleaning your path. It's life removing everything that was holding you back, everything that was fake, temporary, or distracting you from your true purpose. When you lose everything, you don't really lose. You will learn. You learn who you are, who truly cares, and what really matters. I once met a woman who had gone through a terrible divorce. She said, "I lost my home, my husband, my friends. Everything I built fell apart." I asked her, "And what did you find after that?" She paused, smiled faintly, and said, "Myself." That one word carried so much power. She discovered that her happiness was not in a relationship, not in possessions, but in her ability to stand tall when everything else crumbled. When you lose everything, you gain perspective. Suddenly, you realize how strong you were all along. You stop fearing loss because you've already survived the worst. You stop seeking validation because you've seen how temporary people can be. You stop begging for attention because you've learned to give yourself peace. In our daily lives, we often tie our happiness to things, to people, to jobs, to success, to social approval. But what happens when those things disappear? We break. We feel like our world has ended. But here's the truth. Sometimes life breaks you not to destroy you, but to rebuild you stronger, wiser, and more unshakable than before. Think about a seed. Before it grows into a tree, it first has to break open in the soil. The darkness of the ground, the weight of the earth, it all looks like the end, but it's the beginning of growth. The seed doesn't die, it transforms. The same happens to us. When we are buried by pain, betrayal, or loss, we are not being punished. We are being planted for a greater future. You may have lost your job. You may have lost someone you loved. You may have lost your savings, your confidence, or your direction. But every loss carries a lesson, and every lesson builds your strength. You start to see that strength is not about never falling. It's about rising every time you do. Think about the toughest moments of your life. The heartbreaks, the disappointments, the failures. Did they break you? Maybe. But did they also teach you something valuable? Absolutely. You learned patience. You learned resilience. You learned to rely on yourself. You learned to pray, to breathe, to wait. That strength, quiet, invisible, powerful strength. There's a story of a woman who lost her small business during a financial crisis. She was devastated. For months she cried, questioned herself, even doubted her worth. But then she made a decision to start again. She learned new skills, started a home-based business, and within 2 years, she became more successful than before. When I asked her what changed, she said, "When I lost everything, I stopped fearing loss. That made me unstoppable." You see, when you lose everything, fear leaves you. You've already faced the worst, so what else can scare you? That's when true courage begins. You stop worrying about what people think. You stop trying to please everyone. You stop chasing approval. You start doing what feels right for your soul. That's strength, the kind that no one can take away. Every person you admire today has gone through moments of deep loss. The most successful people were once broke. The strongest women were once heartbroken. And the wisest souls were once lost. But they didn't give up. They used their pain as fuel. They turned their wounds into wisdom. When you lose everything, you learn gratitude. Because now even a small blessing feels precious. A simple meal, a peaceful night, a genuine smile, they become treasures. You stop taking things for granted. You become humble. You become real. I want you to think of life like a storm. When the wind blows, the weak trees fall, but the strong ones bend. They don't resist the storm. They flow with it. And when it passes, they rise taller than before. That's how you should face your losses. Don't fight the pain, flow with it. Let it teach you. Let it shape you. Sometimes losing everything is what gives you the freedom to start fresh. You're no longer trapped by what people expect. You no longer carry the weight of pretending to be okay. You are free to rebuild on your own terms, with your own vision, from your heart. And the best part, the version of you that rises after losing everything is not the same as the one that fell. You become wiser, calmer, more focused. You stop chasing temporary things. You understand that peace is more valuable than popularity. That purpose is more powerful than paychecks. That self-respect is worth more than social approval. So if you are in a season of loss right now, don't despair. It's not the end. It's a new beginning disguised as an ending. The things you've lost were not meant to stay. The people who left were not meant to walk your next chapter. The opportunities that slipped away were not meant for your destiny. Life removes what you don't need so you can make space for what you do. And when that happens, when everything is stripped away, you meet the strongest version of yourself. You realize that you never needed as much as you thought you did. You realize that peace was inside you all along. So, when you lose everything, don't lose hope. Because from that emptiness, greatness is born. From that silence, strength speaks. And one day, you'll look back and say, losing everything was the best thing that ever happened to me. Because it was in that moment that you finally found yourself. Wisdom is the highest wealth. These words hold a truth so deep that once you understand them, your entire outlook on life begins to shift. We live in a world that praises money, power, and status, but forgets the one thing that can sustain all of it: wisdom. Because money without wisdom leads to arrogance. Success without wisdom leads to downfall, and relationships without wisdom lead to pain. Wisdom is not about knowing everything. It's about understanding what truly matters, when to speak, when to stay silent, when to hold on, and when to let go. You see, wisdom is not something you are born with. It's something you earn through experience, heartbreak, failure, and patience. Every time life tests you, every time you go through something you don't understand, every tear, every sleepless night, all of that is shaping you into a wiser version of yourself. And that wisdom becomes your wealth. Wealth that cannot be stolen, taxed, or lost in a bank account. Think about this. If money were lost, it can be earned again. If status were gone, it can be rebuilt. But if wisdom is lost, everything crumbles. Wisdom is the foundation upon which every great life stands. Without it, even the richest person feels poor. With it, even the poorest person feels rich. Let's take a simple example from daily life. Imagine two women start a small business. The first one has plenty of money, but little wisdom. She spends carelessly, trusts people too quickly, and chases fast results. The second woman has limited funds but plenty of wisdom. She observes, learns, saves, and grows slowly but steadily. 1 year later, the first one is struggling with losses and frustration, while the second one is thriving in peace. What made the difference? Not luck, not background, wisdom. Wisdom is knowing that patience often wins over pressure. It's understanding that not everything needs a reaction. It's realizing that silence can be more powerful than shouting. In daily life, wisdom shows up in the smallest choices. How you speak to someone when you're angry, how you handle disappointment, how you forgive when you could have held a grudge. I once met an elderly woman in an ashram who had nothing in her hands. No jewelry, no fancy clothes, no possessions. But when she spoke, her words carried such calmness and truth that everyone in the room fell silent. Afterward, someone asked her, "How do you stay so peaceful when you have nothing?" She smiled and said, "Because I have understanding." That's wisdom. It's not about what you have in your home, it's about what you have in your heart. In our fast, moving world, people chase information more than wisdom. They know everything about technology, trends, and money, but very little about inner peace, humility, and compassion. And that's why we see so much stress, conflict, and emptiness. Because without wisdom, knowledge becomes noise. Without wisdom, progress becomes pressure. Without wisdom, relationships become transactions. Wisdom is not about age, it's about awareness. Some young people carry more wisdom than those twice their age because they have learned to listen, observe, and reflect. Every situation in life is a classroom, and every mistake is a teacher. If you are willing to learn, a wise woman doesn't rush. She knows that everything has its time. She doesn't react to everything. She chooses her battles carefully. She doesn't try to control others. She controls herself. She doesn't let success go to her head or failure to her heart. She stays balanced in both because she knows that neither lasts forever. There's a beautiful thing about wisdom. It protects you. Money can build walls around you, but wisdom builds peace within you. When you have wisdom, you stop wasting your energy on what doesn't matter. You stop chasing approval, stop arguing over small things, stop letting every opinion affect you. You start living with clarity. Wisdom is what makes a woman strong without being hard, gentle without being weak, humble without being small. It's what gives her grace under pressure, patience in chaos, and faith in confusion. Wisdom turns pain into purpose and wounds into wisdom itself. Take, for example, a mother raising her children alone. Life throws challenges at her daily: financial struggles, sleepless nights, endless responsibilities. Yet she chooses patience over panic. She smiles even when she's tired, forgives even when she's hurt, and gives even when she has little. That is wisdom in action, not loud, not dramatic, quiet, steady, powerful. You can buy knowledge with money, but you can't buy wisdom. Wisdom is earned through humility, by accepting that you don't know everything. It's built through reflection, by asking, "What is this moment trying to teach me?" It's strengthened through gratitude, by saying, "Even in pain, I am learning." There will be moments in life when you don't know which path to take, when the world feels noisy and your heart feels heavy. In those moments, stop, breathe, and listen, not to the world, but to your own inner wisdom. That still, small voice inside you always knows what's right. The more you listen to it, the stronger it becomes. The truly wealthy woman is not the one who wears gold on her neck, but the one who carries wisdom in her mind, because wisdom gives you what money cannot: peace in chaos, clarity in confusion, and strength in weakness. So seek wisdom more than wealth, because money can vanish, jobs can change, people can leave, but wisdom will walk with you forever. It will guide your choices, protect your peace, and shape your destiny. When you are wise, you don't need to chase success. It finds you. You don't need to fight for respect. You earn it naturally. You don't need to search for happiness. You create it within yourself. Wisdom is the highest wealth, because it enriches every part of your life. It helps you love better, live deeper, and rise higher. It makes your life meaningful, your heart peaceful, and your journey beautiful. And once you have it, no one can ever take it away from you. Depend on your potential, not people. These words may sound simple, but they carry the power to change your life forever, because one of the greatest lessons life teaches us, often painfully, is that people can leave, promises can break, and circumstances can change, but the strength within you will always remain if you learn to depend on it. You see, too often we give other people the remote control of our happiness. We wait for someone to believe in us, to support us, to notice us, to lift us up. And when they don't, we start doubting ourselves. But the truth is, waiting for others to validate your potential is like waiting for someone else to live your life for you. No one can see your dreams the way you do. No one can walk your path the way you can. And no one can feel your calling the way your heart does. There's a story about a young woman who wanted to start a small business. She shared her dream with her friends and family, hoping for encouragement. But instead, she heard the same words many people hear: "It's too risky. What if you fail? Why don't you get a stable job?" For weeks, she hesitated. She questioned her ability. But one morning, she realized that the same people discouraging her were not the ones paying her bills or living her dreams. That day, she decided to bet on herself. She started small, learned every skill she could, failed many times, but never gave up. A few years later, her business became a success. When asked what changed, she said, "I stopped depending on people's belief in me. I started depending on my own potential." That is the secret to growth. People may cheer for you one day and criticize you the next. They may promise to help but disappear when things get tough. It's not always because they are bad. Sometimes they just don't see what you see. And that's okay. Your vision was given to you, not to them. You don't need everyone to understand your journey. You only need to keep walking it with faith. Depending on your potential means trusting the gifts God has already placed inside you. It means believing that you are capable, even when no one says it out loud. It means choosing courage over comfort and self-belief over approval. In daily life, we often rely too much on others for strength. We wait for someone to motivate us, to appreciate us, to stand by us. But what happens when that support is gone? That's when we discover how powerful we truly are, because when you stop depending on people, you start discovering your own wings. Think about it. The most powerful moments of growth often come when you are alone, when you have no one to clap for you, no one to guide you, no one to rescue you. That's when your inner fire awakens. You learn to push yourself, to speak kindly to yourself, to pick yourself up after falling, and that strength stays with you for life. A woman who depends on her potential becomes unstoppable. She doesn't beg for opportunities, she creates them. She doesn't wait for doors to open, she builds her own. She doesn't complain about who didn't support her, she focuses on who she is becoming. Her confidence doesn't come from who stands beside her, but from who stands within her. I once met a teacher who taught in a small village school with very few resources. She had dreams of opening a learning center for girls, but she had no funding, no connections, no backing. Still, She didn't stop. She started teaching girls for free under a tree. Slowly, her passion attracted attention. People began donating books, others offered space, and within a few years, her small idea became a community school. When someone asked her how she managed it, she said, "If I had waited for people to help me, I'd still be waiting. I depended on my potential, not their permission." That's the spirit every woman should have. The courage to believe in herself even when no one else does. The truth is, your potential is like a seed. It has everything needed to grow into a strong tree. But if you keep waiting for others to water it, it will never bloom. You must water it with your own discipline, your own effort, your own faith. Depending on people too much leads to disappointment, because no one was designed to carry your destiny except you. Even the kindest people have their own battles. Even your closest friends have limits. But your potential, that's limitless. It doesn't depend on luck, background, or approval. It depends on your willpower, your focus, and your ability to rise after failure. When you depend on your potential, rejection doesn't break you, it redirects you. Failure doesn't define you, it refines you. Loneliness doesn't weaken you, it strengthens you. Because now, your strength doesn't come from the outside, it comes from the inside. And here's something powerful to remember. The more you depend on others, the less you discover yourself. But the moment you stop waiting for someone to push you, your true power comes alive. You start trusting your intuition, following your ideas, believing in your dreams. You start living with freedom, freedom from expectation, from disappointment, from doubt. Yes, there will be moments when you wish someone would hold your hand, when you wish someone understood your vision, when you wish someone stood beside you. But those are the moments meant to shape you into someone who doesn't need external validation to keep moving. Depending on your potential doesn't mean you isolate yourself. It means you stop making others responsible for your happiness, your growth, your future. You can still love people, work with people, and appreciate them, but your foundation remains within you. Because when your foundation is within you, no storm can shake you. So believe in the gifts that are already inside you. You have ideas, talents, and strength you haven't even tapped into yet. You are far more capable than you give yourself credit for. Don't wait for perfect timing or perfect support. Start now with what you have, where you are. The world has always been moved by people who believed in their own potential, not by those who waited for permission. So, when doubt whispers, "You can't," let your inner voice reply, "Watch me." Because when you depend on your potential, you may walk alone, but you will never walk weak. And one day, the same people who doubted you will look at you with admiration and say, "She did it." And you'll smile quietly because you'll know you didn't do it because of them. You did it because you finally learned to depend on yourself. Invest in yourself daily. These 4 words can transform the direction of your entire life if you truly understand them. Because the greatest investment you will ever make is not in gold, not in land, not even in business. It's in you, your mind, your body, your soul, your skills, and your character. Everything else in life can be taken away. Your job, your money, your possessions. But the person you become through self-investment can never be lost. Every day, the world tries to pull your attention outward, toward what everyone else is doing, what others have achieved, how others are living. But real progress begins when you turn that focus inward and ask yourself, what am I doing today to become a better version of myself? Because success doesn't come from luck or timing, it comes from consistent personal growth. Investing in yourself doesn't mean spending money on luxury, it means spending time on growth. It means reading that one book that expands your thinking. It means listening to something that feeds your soul instead of numbing your mind. It means using 1 hour a day to work on your dream, your skill, your health, or your peace. Small steps taken every day compound into massive results over time. Let me tell you a story. There was a young woman who worked at a small company. She was hardworking, but she felt stuck. Every day felt the same. One day, she decided to use just 1 hour before work to learn something new. She started reading about communication skills and watching online courses on leadership. She practiced speaking with confidence and handling stress better. Within a year, she was promoted, not because someone gave her a favor, but because she had invested in herself. That's the power of daily self-investment. It's not flashy, it's not overnight, but it's permanent, because what you pour into yourself will eventually show in your energy, your attitude, and your results. Most people spend their lives investing in external things, buying clothes, upgrading phones, decorating homes, but they forget to decorate their mind, upgrade their thinking, and clean their hearts. The truth is, no amount of external wealth can replace the glow of inner growth. The person who reads daily, reflects daily, and works daily on themselves becomes magnetic. Their energy attracts opportunities. Their wisdom commands respect. Their peace inspires others. You don't need to make big moves. Even small efforts count. Wake up a little earlier to plan your day. Listen to something positive instead of negative news. Practice gratitude before you sleep. Spend 30 minutes learning a skill that adds value to your life. Save a small amount of money each month for your dreams. These habits may look ordinary, but they build an extraordinary life. Investing in yourself is also about taking care of your emotional and mental health. It's about knowing when to rest, when to say no, when to detach from toxic people or situations. It's about nurturing your peace the same way you nurture your career. Because success without peace is failure in disguise. I once met an artist who struggled for years to be recognized. She told me, for a long time, I was waiting for someone to discover me. Then one day, I realized I needed to discover myself first. She began dedicating time every morning to practice her art, meditate, and learn new techniques. Gradually, her work improved, and opportunities began finding her. She said something I'll never forget. The day I started investing in myself, the world started investing in me. That's exactly how it works. When you take yourself seriously, life does too. When you grow, everything around you grows. When you upgrade your mind, your life upgrades automatically. In our daily lives, we sometimes forget that time is our most valuable currency. Every moment you spend scrolling, complaining, or comparing could be used to build something beautiful. Every day is an opportunity to feed your mind with wisdom, your heart with gratitude, and your life with purpose. The question is, are you spending your days wisely, or wasting them waiting. Investing in yourself also means forgiving yourself. It means letting go of guilt and self-doubt and giving yourself permission to start over. You cannot grow if you keep punishing yourself for past mistakes. You can't invest in your future if you're still stuck in your past. Growth happens when you say, I may not be where I want to be yet, but I'm willing to work on myself every single day. You are your greatest asset. Your mind, your energy, your creativity. These are treasures. Don't let them go to waste. When you invest in them, everything else starts aligning. You'll notice you speak differently, think differently, and attract different kinds of people. Your confidence becomes quiet, not loud. Your presence becomes powerful, not prideful. Even in the smallest routines, you can build yourself. Cooking your own meal teaches discipline. Reading teaches focus. Exercising teaches consistency. Meditation teaches patience. Learning a new language teaches humility. Every small effort is a brick in the foundation of your best self. And here's the beauty of it. When you invest in yourself, everyone benefits. Your family sees a happier you. Your friends see a stronger you. Your work sees a sharper you. You inspire others without even trying because your growth speaks louder than words. Many people say, I don't have time to work on myself. But the truth is, you always have time for what you truly value. You can spend hours on social media, but not 30 minutes on self-improvement. The difference between those who grow and those who stay stuck is not intelligence. It's intention. So, take your time seriously. Use your mornings wisely. Protect your energy fiercely. Choose people and habits that build you, not drain you. And remember, growth doesn't happen in a day. It happens daily. One day, you will look back at all the small efforts you made, the books you read, the habits you built, the moments you chose peace over chaos, and you'll realize that was the real success. Not the money, not the fame, but the person you became along the way. So start today. Read that chapter, take that course. Go for that walk, pray, journal, reflect. Do something that your future self will thank you for. Because the greatest investment you can ever make is the one you make in yourself. And unlike anything else, this investment will never lose value. It will only multiply in strength, wisdom, and joy every single day.